In a small coastal town in Australia, a kind-hearted man named Cooper lived with his beloved wife, Ruby. Their life was simple but full of joy. They never argued, always smiled, and loved each other deeply. But next door lived a wealthy landowner named Blake. When Blake first laid eyes on Ruby, he was enchanted by her beauty and instantly desired her for himself. Every afternoon, while Cooper worked the nearby fields, Blake would stroll over to their home. "Ruby," he'd say smoothly, "a woman like you deserves designer dresses and sparkling jewelry. Why doesn't your husband provide these things? Perhaps he doesn't truly value you. But I would. Marry me, and I'll make you the most admired woman in all of New South Wales." At first, Ruby ignored him. But his words began to take root. Why doesn't Cooper ever buy me new things? Maybe Blake's right. That evening, she turned to her husband and softly said, "Cooper, my clothes are getting old. I'd love to have something new. Something pretty." Cooper took her hand and smiled warmly. "Ruby, to me, no gown or jewel could make you more beautiful. You already shine brighter than anything money can buy." But Ruby looked away, and seems hurt. "If you really love me, prove it." Cooper looked at the few coins in his pocket. "I barely have enough to buy a new plow," he thought, "but if a new dress makes Ruby smile, then that's what matters." The next morning, he walked to the local market, and after much searching, he found a simple but beautiful dress. That evening, when he handed it to Ruby, her eyes welled with tears. She put it on immediately. "Thank you, Cooper," she said joyfully. "Now I know you truly love me." Later that week, the rich man, Blake, came again. Seeing Ruby in the dress, he narrowed his eyes. "Ah, new clothes," he said. "But a loving husband doesn't stop at fabric. Where's your gold necklace? Your rings? Doesn't he value you enough to adorn you in gold?" He opened a velvet box, revealing shimmering jewelry. "Divorce him, Ruby. Marry me, and all of this is yours." But Ruby turned away. "No, Blake. I love my husband, and he loves me. That dress means more to me than all your gold." Blake left, but the next day, he returned, and whispering temptations and holding out the glittering box. Doubt crept into Ruby's mind again. Why hasn't Cooper bought me any jewelry? Maybe Blake is right. That day, she didn't light the stove. Didn't prepare dinner. When Cooper came home, exhausted and aching from work, he found the house cold and quiet. "There's no dinner tonight," Ruby said softly. "You don't love me." Cooper's eyes widened. "What?" "Ruby. I love you more than anything in this world." "Then, why don't you buy me some gold jewelry? A necklace, some rings? Doesn't a man who truly loves his wife gift her such things?" Cooper's heart sank. "I already spent nearly everything on that dress," he thought. "But if gold will make her happy, I have to try." The next morning, Cooper visited his older brother, Eli, who owned a large, rugged farm on the outskirts of town. "Brother," Cooper said, "can you lend me some money? I'll work it off in your field, as long as it takes." Eli looked him over. "All right, mate," he replied. But the field's covered in stones, you'll have to clear it all. It won't be easy. I'll do it, Cooper said without hesitation. He took the loan, went to the market, and bought a delicate gold necklace and 2 simple rings. That evening, when he gave them to Ruby, her eyes sparkled brighter than the jewelry itself. "Oh, Cooper," she gasped, slipping the necklace around her neck and the rings onto her fingers. "Am I not beautiful now?" "You're always beautiful to me," Cooper said gently. "But if this brings you joy, then my heart is full." Ruby threw her arms around him. Thank you, my dear husband. Now I know how much you truly love me." Before dawn the next day, Cooper was already in Eli's field, staring at the rocky ground. "It's going to be hard," he thought, "but I must work from sunrise to sundown. I will repay my debt, for Ruby's happiness." Back home, Ruby hummed as she cooked. The scent of a special stew filled the house. "He gives me beautiful things. He works so hard for me. I know now, he really does love me." That afternoon, Ruby heard a voice at the gate. "Hello. Are you there?" She stepped outside and saw Blake, the rich neighbor, standing there again. "Oh, it's you," she said coolly. "Ruby," Blake smiled, "you were wrong about your husband. He gave you jewelry, sure, but I can give you more than that." "More?" Ruby asked, folding her arms. "My husband loves me. He bought me this necklace with his hard-earned money. I will not leave him. I will not marry you." Blake's smile faded. He loves her too much, he thought. If I want her, I need to be clever. He leaned in. "Your Cooper gave you clothes and gold. But can he give you miracles?" "Miracles?" Ruby echoed. "Only God can make miracles. Men cannot." "But I can," Blake whispered. "Because I love you. Love gives me power. If your husband really loved you, he'd make miracles for you too. Leave him, and I'll show you wonders beyond belief." "Then show me a miracle now," Ruby challenged. "I can't. You must first promise your love to me. Leave your husband, come to me, and then I will make miracles, only for you." Ruby said nothing. She turned her back. And Blake left in silence. That night, Cooper returned home late. His hands were blistered, his back sore. But Ruby was waiting. She brought water for him to wash and served a hot, delicious meal. My poor Cooper, she thought, watching him eat in silence. He works so hard. He gives so much. And he asks for nothing. That rich man, he's a fool. Miracles. My husband performs one every day, with love, with sacrifice. That is the real miracle. But the next day, and the one after that. Blake returned to Ruby's doorstep. "Did Cooper perform a miracle for you yesterday?" he asked with a sly smile. "Leave him, Ruby. Love me, and I will make miracles for you every single day." At first, Ruby stayed silent. But Blake's words had found a crack in her heart. That evening, when Cooper came home, Ruby sat quietly at the table, her eyes downcast. "My love," Cooper said gently, kneeling beside her. What's wrong? Are you unwell? No, she whispered. I'm just sad. Because you don't love me. Cooper drew back in shock. Ruby, how can you say that? I bought you new clothes, I gave you gold, you are everything to me. But you never make miracles, she said softly. And Blake says that love makes miracles. If a man loves a woman, he creates wonders for her. Cooper was stunned. His heart ached with confusion and helplessness. Miracles. How can I make miracles? I'm just a man. Then he understood. This has all come from Blake. First, she asked for clothes. Then for gold. And now, miracles. That man is poisoning her heart. The next morning, Cooper left before the sun touched the horizon. His feet dragged toward his brother Eli's field, but his mind was somewhere else entirely. I've done everything I could. But I'm only human. If there's to be a miracle, it won't come from me. Only God can help now. As he lifted the first stone from the ground, his lips moved in a silent prayer. That morning in the field, Cooper raised his eyes to the bright sky. "O Lord," he prayed, "I love my wife. Please, help me. Don't let that man take her from me." He worked tirelessly, moving stone after heavy stone under the heat of the midday sun. When he finally stopped to rest under a gum tree, he found an old man sitting there. "Who are you?" Cooper asked. "I'm a wizard," said the man with a twinkle in his eye. "And I've got something for you, 2 sticks that can make miracles." Miracles? Cooper's heart leapt. What kind? The wizard smiled. Touch someone with the first, they'll turn into a donkey. Touch them again with the second, and they'll become human again. Cooper stared. That's brilliant. He thought of Blake and chuckled. Perfect. He thanked the wizard and raced home. Ruby, he called out. Come out here. I'm going to make a miracle. She stepped outside. What kind of miracle? Watch, Cooper said, and with a swift tap from the first stick, Ruby vanished in a puff of light, and was replaced by a braying donkey. Hee-haw. Cooper tapped her again, and she returned to her human form. That's a real miracle, she gasped. How on earth did you do that? I prayed, Cooper said simply. And God answered. Ruby hugged him tightly, but Cooper's face had grown serious. Now, Ruby, he said. There's one more thing. I am going to punish the one who hurt us. Your enemy? She asked. Yes, he said, looking directly at her. The rich man next door. He whispered poison into your ears while I was out working. Told you to ask for clothes. For gold. For miracles. Am I right? She didn't speak at first, then whispered, yes. He said all those things. And you listened. She turned away, ashamed. I'm sorry, she said quietly. I didn't mean to hurt you. Cooper softened. Do you want to leave me? Marry him? Ruby turned to face him, her eyes full of tears. No, dear husband. Never. I want to stay with you forever, Ruby said, her eyes shining with tears. And I'll never listen to him again. Cooper gently handed her the first stick. Then use this, he said. And touch Blake with it. He kept the second stick hidden in the rafters. The next day, Cooper left for work as usual. Not long after, Blake showed up at Ruby's doorstep. So, he smirked, can your husband perform miracles yet? Yes, Ruby replied calmly. And with one swift motion, she touched him with the stick. In an instant, Blake the Proud became Blake the braying donkey. Now, Ruby said, you can finally do some good, by helping my husband. She led him out to the field where Cooper was still moving heavy stones. Cooper looked up and grinned. Well, a donkey. Perfect. I can finally finish this job faster. From that day on, the donkey worked hard, carrying stones, hauling goods to the market, bringing back sacks of flour and coffee. The man who was once poor began to prosper, his home filled with comfort and peace. Years passed. One morning, Cooper looked at the old donkey standing wearily in the sun, its head bowed. He walked into the house and returned with the second stick. He touched the donkey once more, and instantly, Blake reappeared. No longer young, his back was bent, his face worn with time and toil. You tried to take my wife from me, Cooper said gently. That was wrong. Go home. And never covet another man's wife again. Blake bowed his head and walked away, never to return. But Cooper and Ruby lived on in love, laughter, and quiet joy, for many years. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more real-life inspired tales, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to English Audio Club, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a story. Your support means the world, and I'll see you in the next one.